let me get this right. Alumni, green room, roundtable. All right. A lot going on, and I have 8 alumni here willing to share some experiences with you about ShowBiz Blueprint. I know a whole lot of people have written me. Emails are popping, messages are popping in the messenger. Is this right for me? And you know what? We did this 3-day re-entry workshop, which honestly was a fantastic experience just to do that with you guys. But it was a lot of Barry. Let me put it that way. It was a whole lot of Barry. And what I want to do is bring some other voices into it. People who have been through the program, some going back to the very original, some going back to, I think, just the last time I did it in 2019. So there's a great variety of folks in here doing this. Sending hellos out to you, whether you're live or watching this on replay. We're going to be here for 60 minutes digging in. And let me take a second right now to bring live and say hello. I'm going to ask folks to introduce themselves briefly. Look at that. 8 alumni, 8 amazing entertainers from different parts of the country. Yeah, John, will you, John Fitz, will you jump in and introduce yourself? Oh, and Priscilla, welcome for joining us too.
Hey, I'm honored to be here. I'm John Fitzsimmons. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I think I was in the second round of ShowBiz Blueprint. So I've been around almost 10 years. It's been amazing.
Awesome. Jen, will you jump in?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Jen Slaw. I did ShowBiz Blueprint in 2013. So it's been a while, and it was, I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania right now, but it was really what it enabled me to transition into more speaking, and that's what I do now. I do speaking and juggling and a lot of team building and corporate events.
Yeah, you do. No doubt. A lot of it. Thanks so much. And Dennis, will you say hello?
Hey there. It's Dennis Kyriakos here. I'm based in Oakland, California, originally New York City, and now we're out here. I did the Blueprint in 2019. And it changed my life. That's all I got to say about that. I don't know what else to tell you.
Awesome, man. If you're gonna end on a sentence, if you're gonna end on one sentence, that's all right. Brian Glow, what you got, man? Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Glow. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, in the frigid north. Not so much. I was actually either one of the very first member or within the first members of the very first class.
That is true.
So I have an amazing perspective and talk about game changing. It certainly has changed my life. And I mean, it's the best course I've ever taken in my entire life. And I continue to go on with ShowBiz as well as many other courses, but this is still the heart of everything I do.
Awesome, thank you. And if you are in magic at all and you own a thumb tip or anything above that, you know Brian Glow. I'll just say it that way. Dude has a career that has gone on and still looks young, man. He's still like a kid. It's the red hair. I don't know what it is. Hey, Michael Carducci, say hello, man. Thank you.
Hey, it is an honor to be here. And yeah, I'm a close-up magician, sometimes stage magician, keynote speaker, and post ShowBiz Blueprint, I've been able to get on stages all over the world, Europe, Middle East, Asia, all over the U.S. I mean, it just completely changed my life. I was in ShowBiz Blueprint 2015. I quit in 2014, quit my day job and decided I was going to do this. And I was kind of hanging in there, and I took a real risk. I'm like, I'm all in on this just because every worker that I ever met that had it together, the one common denominator was Barry and the ShowBiz Blueprint. So honored to be here and share my story, and excited for the future and what it holds for all of us.
Oh, man, thank you. That's awesome. I feel like we could say goodnight, you know. Hey, really good. And next, I think the only PhD on the panel, is that Dr. Steve? Is that maybe? Oh, you're muted. How about that? PhD, but still muted. It's unbelievable.
That is the great equalizer.
Well, thanks, Barry. I'm actually an MD.
MD, that's right. It's, yeah.
And a stand-up comedian. And I did ShowBiz Blueprint in 2015. I initially got involved with it because I was looking to kind of avoid this reinventing the wheel every time I got an inquiry, and frankly got a whole load more out of it. I now do keynote speeches at healthcare events, and I'm based out of Orlando, Florida. So, hey.
Awesome. And yeah, well, very cool. And blessings to Florida today. I know something unimaginable is going down there. Yeah.
Down in Miami, yeah.
Yeah. Danny Orleans, say hello, man. Good to see you.
That's me. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Danny Orleans. I'm a trade show magician primarily. I took Barry's class in 2017, and I took it. I was really probably the reason I wanted to take it the most, because I didn't take it till I was in my early 60s. And, I had a beautiful career, but I thought, what exactly did Barry Friedman do to make so much money and be so successful? And that was the main motivation for me taking it. I didn't really think he could help me, but I found out how wrong I was. There were so many great tips in there that I've been able to apply to even extend my success more and my relationship with clients. So, and I guess what most impressed me, Barry, about you, just to sum it up, is the way you over-delivered for me personally, even after the class was done, how you came in and helped me so much in many other ways as well. So I appreciate that.
Oh, man, love it. Thank you, Danny. Yeah.
And I want to plus one that as well. I don't mean to interrupt, but that's the real magic. It wasn't the course. It was all the value and all the support you continued to give in my showbiz career and outside of. I've just got to echo that sentiment.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Hey, Benjamin, who is mobile or in front of a great green screen. Benjamin, say hello, man.
Yes, hello. I'm Ben Corey Feinblum, and I joined along with Brian and John, and I believe they were in my initial accountability group. And guess what? We have been talking ever since, probably most weeks, 2 or 3 times a week for over a decade. And on Barry's birthday, I sent him a video in Messenger, and I said, Barry, I'd like to thank you for screening all of my closest friends for me and bringing them into this room. Experiences. Am I here? You got me?
It's in and out. Thank you. Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
Yeah, your closest friends. Thanks so much, man. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Excellent. Hey, thank you. And Priscilla, if you could jump in, say hello from the desert itself.
Yes. Thanks, Barry. Thank you, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Gosh, I joined in 2015. I live in Vegas, and entertainment capital of the world, but I didn't know the business aspect of show business. It's just the fact of the matter. We know talent and not the business side, and Barry taught me that. I was able to 10x, literally 10x what I charged. He said, you're not charging enough, and he gave me the confidence and the tools to be able to make that happen, and I'm so grateful for that.
Oh. And like so many of you guys, when I look at this screen, I see so many people who I met at one place in their life, and holy cow. Yeah, oh gosh, I keep getting the wrong. It doesn't look anything like that. Like, it just doesn't look anything. Lives don't look like that. So there is a fair amount of growth that happens that we can't talk about. There's no reason to talk about before ShowBiz Blueprint, and all this stuff happens on the inside. So it's amazing to see you guys. Hey, so there's a bunch of people watching this, following this launch, and they're just curious, So I would love to have a couple of folks. What were you feeling or thinking when you first heard about ShowBiz Blueprint? Where was it? You're on the side of the fence. It's funny. I tell this funny story in marketing circles that kind of the most expensive thing back in 2011 as far as education for entertainers was like a $27 lecture notes. And here comes this, freaking knucklehead who was a juggler who, was saying, this course is, bigger and $2,000, and the pushback, it was so insane. There's a forum called, I think it's Genie or Magic Genie or something. If you type my name in there, there's some lovely, lovely, lovely hate mail in there about, who the hell is this? And, blah, 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 blah. Invariably, every one of those bad comments is now an alumni of the program. But, there's a big pushback. So I'd love a couple people to maybe just mention, what were you thinking about when you first heard about this thing? And what was the story you told yourself about why it wasn't right for you? Yeah, feel free to unmute.
Hey, Barry, this is Ben.
Jump in.
When I started, I had been in your Get More Corporate Gigs program that came right before this, and I had booked some huge gigs, And I was kind of tired of going back and forth between birthday shows and doing 300 of them in a year, and then doing a couple decent corporate shows, and then the biggest one canceled during the financial crisis. Yeah. And I was back to like birthday shows, but 12 in a week. So I was like, how am I going to get out of this permanently? And one of the first big shows after ShowBiz Blueprint was at a Ritz-Carlton in downtown DC, and it paid twice, 3 times what the course paid, and it went straight from there. And Barry, you once sent me a gig that you couldn't take that paid for 150% of the course, and I flew to Kansas to do the gig.
Nice.
And so best money ever received. And where is it right now? Little secret. I am waiting on a conference to finish in July, and someone is connecting me with the planner for a conference with 50,000 people for next year.
Dude, love that. Yeah, so that's the possibility piece. So the thinking on the beginning of the course when you hear about something, I'd love to hear somebody just, what does it come up to you? What does it come up? What's the story you have to tell yourself to overcome a story that's happening in your head when you hear about an opportunity like this? I know, Brian, you talked about this one time, what was happening inside you when you had that.
Right. Well, I mean, we had it at one point, one of the largest touring illusion shows in the world for about 35 years, traveling. And I mean, I still travel, but it was on a regular basis in 45 countries. And then 2008, 2009 hit with the crisis, and suddenly everything vanished. And it was, I mean, I had done many pivots in my earlier life, but for a long time I didn't have to. It was just there, and it was coming and coming and coming with no. It was in that joy of life where you get to turn stuff down because there's just too much, and then in one day, like literally one day, there was nothing. I mean, we had 13 of our biggest clients from Hewlett Packard and Apple and Honda and Ford like vanish. And said, oh, yeah, we'll book you in about 4 or 5 years when the crisis is over. I mean, they had the best economic people in the world. And I was at a loss. I mean, I had, unlike a lot of people who'd use managers and agents, I didn't do that. We booked everything through ourselves. So, I mean, I was used to booking shows, but I didn't have a system in place. I didn't have a lot of things that you taught me. And that it gave me again a huge new confidence that that pivoting and going smaller would still bring in the kind of income and like Priscilla and others have said, many times more than even what I was making. Yeah. And so, I mean, that was brilliant, and I continue to do so.
Huge, yeah. I'd have to trust yourself that way. So, I alluded it to a second ago. There's changes that we talk about on the outside of ShowBiz Blueprint with funnels and blueprints and business and connection, relationships, interviews, people. And then there's this whole thing, and I've seen it, I mean, in all 9 people on this screen, the stuff that happens on the inside, the growth, the confidence in oneself, where you can go, what's possible when some of the business stuff makes a little bit more sense. And I'd love to hear from, Jen is this funny example in my life because it was so funny. There's this classic picture of you like juggling 3 balls in a jester suit. And then there's like soon after that, a picture of you like at your first TEDx talk. And talk about oh gosh, that damn button. I'm going to delete it right now. There is just some transformation that happens. And I'd love to hear you just kind of tag on to that. What happens inside and outside?
Yeah, I'm going to tell a brief Barry story that I think helps to illustrate this picture. Because I did my TEDx talk in 2011, and I had known Barry from the IJA, the International Jugglers Association, and already knew and trusted him. And then he called me one day and he's like, "You need to do a TED talk." And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And that's what he does. He has this bigger vision for you than you may see for yourself. And then he does this thing where he starts supporting you and like making connections for you and making it happen. So I had submitted this proposal for a TED Women Talk, didn't get it, but then ended up booking a TEDx talk in Princeton shortly thereafter. And this was before this was really my first speaking engagement. I had done, I'd been just a juggler, doing events, gigs, wearing the jester hat. And the reason, and it still took me 2 years to sign up.
Nothing wrong with the gesture hat, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it's still, even doing that and already knowing and trusting Barry, it still took me 2 years to then sign up for ShowBiz Blueprint, because I think I was in the mindset of, well, I can kind of figure this out for myself. I think it's also scary to invest in yourself and take that risk. So, I mean, the main thing I would say is don't wait that long, just do it, because like everybody else is saying here, the income that I was charging just jumped. I mean, I remember a specific example. I was doing a proposal and I didn't really know, I had no idea what to charge for, more of a speaking, team building, type event for a bank. And I was talking with Barry and I said, I don't know, maybe $500 for this thing. He's like, try adding another zero. And I was like, well, there's no way, that's crazy. And I mean, the proposal came back, great, sounds great. And I ended up booking three events with that company. So I think it's taking the risk for yourself and really, being willing to put in the work. But you have this amazing guide that is walking you through, and on all the other people, like all the other faces I see here on this call, like just the power of the alumni networking group has been amazing for support as well.
And Barry, do you mind if I jump in? I want to.
Please, man. Yeah, grab the mics, you guys.
That as well. So I'm actually going to ask this to the audience here. I don't think we can see you. I think we're the way that everything's set up, but I want to see if this resonates with you. In my life, for as long as I can remember, like since I was a teenager, my dream was to do magic full time. But I got out there, I started gigging, and I'm coming in at the $200, $300, $400, $500 price point. Maybe I get a real sweet corporate gig and it's $800, and I'm doing the math, and I can't see how I can replace my current income. Like if I worked every other day, I was going to be struggling to replace my current income. And it was really, I'm never going to be able to quit my job. And I know people do this, but it's like, I just didn't see a path forward. And even when I quit my job, I was still doing consulting on the side. I was doing a lot of other side hustles, and I really didn't fully commit myself to the magic because I didn't think it was possible. And, I met a few people who were not only surviving as full-time entertainers, they were thriving. They were making more than me in my six-figure software engineering job. And it's just like, what is the secret? And Barry came up again and again, and it changed my entire perspective. I mean, if you think the ceiling is here for your income and your fees, you have a wonderful surprise ahead of you if you join the ShowBiz Blueprint. When I joined, I was still going out there quoting 250, 475, pushing it into 550. A lead comes in right in the middle of ShowBiz Blueprint. And I said, Barry, I've got this lead. What should I do? And we talked about this, and it scared the daylights out of me. The proposal that I wrote, one of the options in that proposal was a six-figure fee, and that first digit didn't start with a 1.
I remember.
And it was, and they seriously considered. We went for a smaller package, but it was not in the hundreds; it was in the thousands. And even to this day, I've had opportunities come to me, and I'll just say, Barry, I don't know what to do here. And Barry came back and he said, that's at least a $25,000 proposal. And I put this whole thing together with Barry's guidance and coaching, put that in front of the client, and the client says, great, what else can you do on top of this?
And I remember that call, Michael. I remember that. Sometimes our boots are shaking so badly that we can't even stand still enough to see the possibility. And I remember that one. I was safely away from the contract on that one, and I said, no, this is what these folks need. So, man, bless you for standing in for that.
And the thing is, it's not that yes, I learned funnels. Yes, I learned some cool sales technique. Yes, I learned a lot of better business skills. But I think the most valuable thing that I got, and I can't put a price on this, it's priceless, was just completely blowing away that ceiling of my potential, and finding out that I'm so far away from my limit. Writing 5-figure proposals and having somebody come right back and say, this is great. What do we do? What's the next step? Where do we sign? Where do I pay a deposit? It's for just a humble close-up guy like myself. It's changed everything.
My God.
And that's the and that's, you know, it's scary. And the thing is, I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest obstacle I had internally was, okay, maybe these other people can do it, but who am I? Who am I to go in and with this idea that I can actually make a living doing this? And,
who am I?
And
yeah.
it was the biggest leap of faith. And I can't even remember, I almost can't even remember what it was like before, but it, man, I you know, it's,
Dude,
I don't
so
get an
happy.
opportunity enough. Barry, thank you. And
oh man, you look so happy, man. Thank you. It's great to get to sit here with you and just hear you relive the story and remember those $500 days and how that was, and yeah, and what you've done since then. I want to ask Dr. Steve to share something, because I know when you first popped into here, you were doing magic stuff, and I know we had some conversations about what does it mean to be a doctor who does this.
Well, one of the big things for me was pulling on that academic background as well as on the background of magic and stand-up comedy and focusing really hard on the healthcare market. Mm-hmm. That was massive. And also backing up what Michael's just been talking about, this idea, I remember in week 1 of ShowBiz Blueprint, this whole idea of we're superheroes. We go in and do at events what the corporate guys and gals can't do. We go in and make those events memorable, fun, energize them. We excite the people that are there before their 3 days of PowerPoint hell. And that idea of us being superheroes and living in our own power on a daily basis has been absolutely massive. And for example, within 2 weeks of starting ShowBiz Blueprint, I got an inquiry from a huge software company asking me if I could work with their solution engineers, which are like the pre-sales people, and work on their presentation skills. And around that time, we were talking about fees at ShowBiz Blueprint. Yeah. So I quoted them 30 grand just to prepare the program. Whether or not they moved forward with the program, 30 grand just to prepare it, 15 grand up front before I did anything, and then the other 15 grand before the first event. And over the course of those 2 years, that software company paid for my house. And there is no way I would have had the balls to go in and ask for that without that whole kind of superhero mindset and standing in our own power and moving forward every day from that place of power and being willing to say no to the people that we're not a good fit for.
Yeah. You know, I have to just jump in here and just mention that, Barry, can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, definitely, Danny, yeah.
Yeah. You know, but you know, a lot of people are talking about money and 10 timesing their numbers or adding another, you know, upping their fees. But you know, what was so important about Barry's course was not the support there, but what happens, how Barry got us to examine what happened psychologically to us before that, talking about fears, talking about hesitancy, talking about procrastination, because we're all self-employed, and a lot of us, and this goes for me in a very big way, I just was self-employed. I never had accountability groups. I never had other people I consulted with. You know, I hired some graphic artists along the way. I hired a website developer when websites became a thing in the late 1990s. But, you know, Barry was just so helpful in providing this constant support and feedback, you know, and really helping us dig in, look deeply inside ourselves to examine, you know, what makes us tick as a self-employed performer, and what are we missing by, you know, not having more of a group experience.
Danny, just to echo what you were saying, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's everything after the course is even exponential, because you mentioned the accountability groups. I'm still in touch with so many of the alumni. If it wasn't for the access, for instance, to some of the alumni work that's on Facebook groups and stuff, there's any question you can ask, someone's got an answer. If it's a technology question, if it's a Barry question, if it's a money question, if it's just, I I'm having trouble with this client. What do I do? Question. Everyone has that power of unity, and that it's so profound. For me, it's like this lifeline that I've always got and will continue to always have.
I'll add to that too. Oh,
Go ahead. Go over there.
Yeah, I want to get Priscilla to jump into that, and I think this will lead into what I'd really love to hear Priscilla talk about is that you guys are all addressing this, like what's possible once we move out of this story that has held us in a certain place for a certain amount of time, and it's work that I feel so blessed to be on this planet to do for the rest of my life is challenge boys, men in initiation work, entertainers. I got to do it in a partnership for 34 years. What if we? It was a place in my life that I was very comfortable because of maybe a shaky childhood where nothing was stable. So it was always what if we? And that has gone on to the work I've done since retiring from entertainment with biggest entrepreneurs on the internet who are doing launches, and to get to sit in those circles. So yes, I'm very happy in the places where you're uncomfortable, because I know without a doubt we'll be here talking in the future. Priscilla, and this is amazing because I know you're standing at a place right now where you're like 1 foot in this new pool.
right. Yes. And that's what I want to talk about too, is because this community, the support doesn't end when ShowBiz Blueprint ends. Since 2015, I've been making continual pivots in my career. Yeah. Some in entertainment, some not as much entertainment, and it doesn't matter because we're entertainers at heart, right? That's never going to go away. And Barry and the group and the community has helped to make those pivots so much easier. We can lean on each other. I've been on calls with Ben and other people with Barry going through launches that are outside of entertainment now. And so that support that we're able to get from this community that Barry has created is priceless. And I'm so grateful for this group.
Oh my gosh, beautiful. I saved two guys to speak till the end because they're near and dear to my heart in one of the biggest ways possible. They're both fathers. And, I know, Dennis, when you took this course, you had just reloaded. I know a lot of us are fathers and mothers, which is awesome. Oh, my gosh, you're a little G-man. A lot of us are fathers, but I know there were 2 times when there were fathers who were at scary places in their lives when they Dennis, I know, moved from the East Coast to California right before he did the coast. And I know John Fitzsimmons had 2 young girls who I've had the honor of meeting, when this was all starting. And how do you talk about who you are to your children and what they see? As a 19-year-old kid, with a guy with a 19-year-old kid, I can tell you that I know for a fact on this side of it that kids listen to about this much of what you say and this much of what they see. And I hold that so close in my heart. Yeah, you guys talk about that.
All right, I'll go, John.
I'll jump. You're going to go?
Okay, go for it. Yeah, no, go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, when I signed up for ShowBiz Blueprint, I had a 6-month-old, I think. And it was holiday time. It was like Christmas time. And the course was, I don't know, $2,400, I think. And this was a lot of money. And I have a wife too. And if it were just me, I'd just be like, yeah, let's do this. But I had to convince my wife to be on board with me. And I don't know if Barry wants me to tell this story, but I'm going to anyway. I don't recommend doing this, but I did it. He had a period of time where you could get your money back if you weren't happy with the course. So I told my wife, I'm going to go in, and if I don't book enough money to book the whole course, to pay for the whole course by the end of that deadline, whatever it was, I'll just opt out and I'll get my money back. And sure enough, within those couple of weeks that I was in there, I got way more than enough, and I booked enough shows to pay for the course. But over the years, man, what I love about it is I am a stay-at-home dad because of this. Before, if it wasn't for this course, I'd probably be in jail. I mean, I'd be installing security cameras or something like that. Yeah. But that's what I used to do. I was pulling cables down walls, hanging video projectors at nuclear power plants, and hanging TVs in schools. And that was my day job, and I would do magic when I could. But by taking this course, I learned how to book myself enough on the nights and weekends that I could stay home with my family during the week. My wife has an awesome job. And so for us, that takes care of our benefits and everything. And then we just have a team where, she works during the week and I work during the nights and weekends, and it's been great. And our kids are amazing, and they do fun stuff like ride unicycles and magic tricks with us too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so important. I love watching your kids step into that. And Dennis, we talk a little bit about moving to a new area. Like, what was that like for you to have some systems in place?
Yeah, well, we came out here in 2012 with nothing. Like, I had no contacts or connections out here at all. I kind of knew the landscape a little bit, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I was working day jobs and going back to temping and trying to do magic on the side and figuring that out, And like I said, I did the course in 2019, and I'd heard about the Blueprint maybe 2 or 3 years before I got into it by an alumni, and I was always kind of keeping an eye on it, and it's something like I kept saying, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. And then at one point, that year that I did it, I was just like, nah, that's enough. I can't make it this excuse anymore that I'm going to do it next year. And I jumped in, and I also remember seeing some people that other magic colleagues of mine who went from like here and just suddenly like, boom, they just exploded. And I'm like, I bet you they ran through this course. And lo and behold, I get into the alumni group and there they are. I'm like, why did I wait so long? And like I said earlier, really did change my life. Really, my mindset was the biggest thing that the systems are great, kind of the whole process and the community is fantastic. And it's something I kind of consider myself a lone wolf, and I kind of just stay quiet and do my thing. But man, if I ever have a question, like everybody else is saying, I just, in the group and you get an answer, or you just kind of pay attention to what's going on, and you learn so much from what other people are doing. So it's been fantastic. Can I tell one really quick story?
Yeah, please.
Something that just happened, actually. Like I remember before I did the course, I would obsess about, putting out, here's my fee, and, here's the thing I want to do for you. And, oh gosh, I hope I get the gig. I hope I get the gig. And then when I didn't get it, I would just like, I'd come down really hard on myself, and I'd obsess about why, So I put out a proposal a couple of days ago for a fundraising event for someone who had seen me and was a fan. And he told me, he's like, they're also looking at another guy. And, the before me would say, oh, who's the other guy, And this me now, it doesn't matter who the other guy is. It does not matter who the other guy is. I don't care about the other guy. Yeah. And it turns out, right? And it turns out I didn't get the gig. And when he told me it went to the other guy, I went, bummer. Let's try it again next time. Thanks very much. And I've moved on. The former me would just like obsess for days and like beat myself up for not getting the gig. And that for me personally is massive, because I can leave it. I could leave it at work, and then go and be with my family in the evenings when my work is done. And that is huge for me.
Dennis. Yeah. Oh man, I so love that. Thanks for that story. That's the kind of stuff that happens on the inside, and and that affects everything. We talk in ShowBiz Blueprint a little bit about how thoughts, what Dennis is at, the thoughts, how that changes the feelings you have, and the feelings create the action you take, and the action affects the results, and it's this circle. So yes. Love that you showed up.
Can I jump in for a moment, please, Barry?
Please jump in. Where are we? Yes.
Yeah. Hey, this whole thing, I want to be real clear with the folks watching. We've been talking an awful lot about mindset, which is, of course, massively important. But then on top of that, there's a whole bunch of rock solid tactics as well. And I've got a bunch of friends here in Orlando that have taken ShowBiz Blueprint, and they'd actually told me about it a year before I took it. And for anyone that decides not to take it, the risk you run is that a year from now, you're going to be learning about these tactics and strategies that you could have learned about a year earlier. And you're going to be like, man, 12 months when I could have been using this stuff and I didn't have the opportunity. I didn't have access to this stuff. And I think that's really important to appreciate. It isn't, whilst the mindset is massively important and sort of waking up every day in that sense of power and no fear and taking effective action. In addition, there is a whole bunch of tactical stuff with a load of not just Barry, but a whole bunch of other experts that come in and talk about social media or website copy or how to build a website and what software to use and so forth. And these tactics are really helpful too. And it's that blend that makes it really effective, I think, as a course.
Thank you for putting that in. That's hugely important. Yeah. Benjamin, what you got? You got something? And then Brian, jump in right after that.
Yeah. So every time you're about to make a leap in one of these things, every single mindset that kept you where you were before starts screaming in your head. The closer you get, the louder those voices get. And Barry has worked with enough people. He knows what all those voices are saying and helps you work through that stuff along the way. And so as you're deploying the tactic and you're going, there's no way that this proposal is going to book. No way. Oh my God. And then you're thinking, I can't do this one. This can't be for me. Barry's there and the other members are there. And each mindset that prevented you from rising, you work through that as a group and with Barry. And it's like the coach dragging you across the line and the contract comes back. You're like, wow. So you really, a lot of that, you really need somebody and a whole community to pull yourself across that line with, because you just can't change that many mindsets in your and tactics at once.
It's a good sandwich. It's a very good sandwich.
Lifelong programming to overcome for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that relationship to money, and boy, do we talk about that, man. It's a big piece. Jen, I know your fee has changed since the Jester days. What's it like? What's it like on the other side of doing that work and breaking down the money and owning your value in the market?
Yeah, it's amazing. Back to when I wanted to do the course was because I wanted to, not even just book more juggling gigs at higher fees, but I wanted to figure out a way to transition into this other world of speaking. And this was fundamental in making that happen. I had recently gotten married. I knew we wanted to start a family. It took us a few years, but I wanted to figure out, how could I be more available as a mom and not be gigging all the time on nights and weekends, but figure out a way and figure out something that would be more lucrative. So it's just made, it's so much better for me to be able to choose what I want to be doing. I'm homeschooling my 4-year-old, partly by choice, partly by pandemic, but I'm probably doing that going forward by choice. And so that transition has made that possible, which has just been amazing.
Yeah. You've been enjoying showing up. I can tell in your face, showing up the way you get to show up. Hey, Brian, I know I said jump in next, and I missed you on something we were just talking about.
That's okay.
Possibilities.
So what was funny when Steve mentioned that others in Orlando had started taking it, because I was the first to get into showbiz, and then people started hearing that I was doing it locally. Because I was dominating the market, suddenly every professional magician in our city started taking the courses too, and I know every single one I did. Now, here's the happy thing though. That did not bother me, frighten me, anything. I have the confidence, especially because of all the things that you taught me in terms of mindset about not worrying about the other act. What happened is everybody else started pushing their game up, which meant that prices were going up and up and up. And we weren't dealing with guys with $500 or $1,500 for gigs. They were in the $5,000, $10,000. Yep. And we were all kind of playing at that same level where we were punching these same kind of buttons. So now when they started hearing these numbers for shows, they're going, I guess that's what it must cost. And so because they were, I was always trying to be ahead and higher than everybody else, and I still try to continue doing that. The game has been elevated, especially in terms of money. So don't be afraid of competitors taking it. In fact, embrace it. Absolutely. Tell your friends.
Thank you. Yeah, the rising waters, man. It absolutely raises the ships. Danny, we talked about something a little while ago about what's possible on the inside and outside. And would you mind talking for a second about what you did what you specifically did as far as just an inside game of what you told yourself, because you had mastered a market, and I think I put a bug under your mind that you need to be teaching this. And man, you were like, you suddenly became Woody Allen. You know, you were like, yeah. So I want to talk to you about that journey of how you went from this fear to actually successfully building something that's had ripples around the world.
You know, I'm a trade show magician. I perform at about 25 trade shows a year, very busy. Shows, you know, throughout the United States, Canada, and even Europe now and then, which is always fun. And, you know, you just suggested, you you convinced me to teach a magic course, a trade show magic course, how to be a trade show magician. And my background is education, so I was able to create a organized curriculum to put that across. But mastering the whole technology end was very challenging for me. And you really brought me through that. I was very scared. And you know, what I needed to do in order to properly launch a course was much more than I realized, but you kind of tutored me through that process, never knowing somehow you knew that, you know, you couldn't overwhelm me. You had to take me one step at a time without really showing me what the end point was. Yes. And it was very clever of you, I must say, but it was a great course. The second round got washed out by the pandemic, but you know, I've rewritten my trade show book. It's now 2.0 COVID, post-COVID, and I'm going to be launching that again soon. But, you know, you really helped me. I was very, very nervous about launching the course. I mean, to a point of where I was having little panic attacks, nervous, you know, anxious is really the word.
I saw
the true, not meaning eager, but meaning anxiety ridden. And, but you really supported me in that. Like, I didn't even know you had that kind of capability. It amazed me, but it was very successful. And I thank you for that.
I saw you, man. I saw that. This is a journey that we can't even talk about what happens, because as the person who created it and leads it and puts the recipe together, puts the accountability group, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. All I do know is that there is a lot of trust that happens inside of me, inside of my small team, inside of the community, and we build that. We bake that in. So you're hearing some examples of how people have risen and played a little bigger, told themselves, rewritten the stories. I saw someone in the comments say this is mostly about mindset, and I think maybe Dr. Steve addressed that before. There is some of that. There has to be, because I promise you, we could pile on new techniques onto the old 5-year-old that's still got a problem with money, the 12-year-old that heard a really shitty sentence from someone in his life, or the one who was told by her dad that she has to get a real job and can't do this. And we have to undo some of that. Absolutely have to undo some of that first, and it's weaved together beautifully. There was one question that I'd love Dr. Steve to tackle. Somebody had written, Dr. Steve, how do you know you could deliver a $30,000 performance? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, because I want to hear that.
This is incidentally why I didn't go the virtual show route over the last year. I have no idea what I'm doing. So yeah, that is an awesome question. Just to be clear, by that point, I'd spent a lot of time on stages. I've been performing since I was, 12 years old. So I was very confident. And ironically, here's the crazy thing. They asked me to prepare a course on presentation skills. I'd actually already delivered that course for the National Speakers Association. So I charged them 30 grand for a course that was already written. So that's how I knew I could pull it off, because in addition to the experience of many years on stage, I'd also delivered the program for the National Speakers Association. So that's, hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so you had a bit of a proof of concept going in. But,
exactly.
It was also an opportunity. They say it's luck, but it was actually preparedness bumped head on with opportunity, and there you were.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and on top of that, I taught for 7 years at the Royal London Teaching Hospital. So I had a lot of experience of teaching and lecturing
Yeah.
at a higher level.
Yes.
So I was able to go in. I was very, very confident at being able to teach this stuff as well.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So yeah.
Yep.
And hey, honestly, you guys, one of the first things we do in the course is we dig into our assets. What do we have? How can we marry our assets with the opportunities that are in the market? And there are so many ways to do that we may not have even thought about. Yeah.
Barry, you said a couple things that really resonated with me that really struck a chord, and I want to speak to that if I may for just a moment. I know Fitz has got everybody here has got so much gold to bring to this conversation, but you talked about those things that you hear, that you see as a kid that just stay with you. And there was one of those for me. It was, I grew up in the middle of nowhere in a small town in Wyoming. My father was a coal miner, and his dream was to become a professional pilot. He taught himself to fly. He got dozens of ratings, dozens of certifications. He became an instructor. He was certified to fly freight, single twin engine, turboprop, small jets, all sorts of ratings. And there was this narrative in the back of his head, and this was what I grew up with. This was the example that I was given, that it's good, it's all well and good to have dreams, but when the rubber meets the road, you've got to take your lumps and work 40 years at the coal mine until you retire. And that really stuck with me, because he applied for jobs. He got job offers, and it was just like, oh, I can't leave the security of the coal mine to follow my dreams. And he retired from the coal mine, never going out and pursuing that professionally. And I didn't realize how much that had stuck with me. The other thing, though, we talk about mindset, we talk about money, we talk about all these things, but fundamentally at my core, my entire life, I was looking for something. I had this really weird conglomeration of skills and passions and things that I could do and things that I was terrible at, and I never found my place. My entire adult life, I was looking for where I belong. It wasn't just being a close-up magician. It wasn't just writing software. It wasn't just any one piece of this. And I always had 5, 6 different things going on simultaneously, because I was looking for where I belonged. And Barry helped me find some pieces, started me on a journey in 2015 when I joined the ShowBiz Blueprint. Nice. And Barry did probably the most impactful thing in my life in 2017. And that's a conversation for a different day, but really gave me that nudge to take that big next step, that big next leap. And I'm coming up on 40, and I found that place. I found where I belong. I found where all of me is welcome, where all of me is engaged, and I've been looking for that my whole life. And so again, I want to, if that's something that resonates with you, this is a good first step on that journey to putting all those pieces together, because ShowBiz Blueprint put me on a trajectory that I could never have anticipated. And where I am today is the sum of all of my experiences. And it's a powerful place to be. And I don't have kids, but I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to give some advice to my younger brother. He turned 21. We took him to Vegas, and sat down, and I said, look, there's going to be a good chunk of your life where you're a gifted kid. You've got a lot that you can do, but a lot of what you can do isn't going to feel right. But just trust, you're going to find that perfect fit, and you're just going to keep developing skills along the way until you are where you need to be. And you will know when you get there, and you realize that every single experience for your entire life was leading up to that moment. And I cannot communicate what it feels like to finally be there. When I was doing that work, that personal development work in 2017 with Barry, that was what I looked for. I was directly asked, what are you looking for? It's like,
yep,
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I do now. And you will too.
Man, thank you. This is a door opening. This is an opportunity to open a door. A couple of things that came up Dennis mentioned about a proposal he turned in, something new that I'm doing this year in ShowBiz Blueprint, and you'll be seeing these inside the portal, is I'm doing full proposal debriefs, whether you got the job or not, going through every communication you had with the client, looking at them, refining them, looking at statistically what works, looking at open rates, your communication, and then putting you back on the trail to do another one. They're going to be published. They're going to be a valuable asset to the portal. Know that they're going to hurt. They're going to be some of the stuff Michael talked about, where you get under the skin, and we kind of get to say, why did it happen this way, and how can we do it differently next time? So there are unlimited amounts of clients and opportunities in the world, especially right now. And the best thing we can do is look at the way that we're making the proposals and go out. And I'm covering that brand new in this edition of ShowBiz Blueprint. Good. Priscilla, jump in with something. We're going to wind this down, but I can't wait to just get a final word from some folks about, I'll pitch that in a second. Go ahead.
Just some, I wanted to add the fact that, when I was hesitant to sign up for ShowBiz Blueprint, my husband actually brought this to my attention, that I'd spent so much money on my props and the gear for my shows, and that's where my investment went. Because to me, I thought, well, I'll just make my show better. But if you don't get it in front of eyeballs, it's not going to mean anything. It doesn't matter how good your show is if you don't know how to sell it. And that was the turning point for me of what I learned in ShowBiz Blueprint. And I'm so grateful my husband talked me into doing it, because it was a big, massive shift for me.
Wow. Yeah. So cool. I love that.
Big thing. If I can jump in, Dennis, really quick, a big thing. Yeah, to just kind of bounce off what Priscilla just said. Like, I don't sit around and wait for the phone anymore to ring. No way. No. I'm actively going out there, constantly making offers and putting it out there. And this past year, this past 15 months, I've got a brand new market that I tapped. I'm like, well, and it's all because of what you showed us, how to go out there and put it out there, and suddenly work is coming in. It's great. Anyway, sorry.
And just one thing I want to add to that too is that, you can buy a bunch of books or take courses on business and try to piece it together and try to translate for what that means for the show business. But I tried that and it didn't work. It didn't work. There's no thing out there like ShowBiz Blueprint. This is the gold standard. This is the program that's been created for us. There's no shopping around to find an alternative. This is it. Just do it.
So cool. Well, that will lead into a nice close. I would love. Go ahead, Brian, please.
I really, just a quick close. And this is some of the most important things, is that things keep changing. We've just gone through COVID. We had techniques to work on. We worked on it together to get past it, so that right now the light is here. I've hit the road running with months and months of touring coming up. But that's the nothing. I will be there following every single class for the new session that you guys are going to be on, just as eager to learn anything new that's come up, because I want that advantage over all my competition, because they're not going to do that. I will. And if you don't, you're behind the 8 ball. You've missed what could have been your next leap.
I love it, man.
And one thing you really got to know, Barry, this will be real quick because I know you're summing up here, but is that you have to put as much into this course as you hope to get out. You make sure you block out time every week, several hours every week, to do the work, because doing the work is what rewards you with the gift that Barry is giving you. And it will take time. It's real homework that needs to be done in order to benefit from ShowBiz Blueprint.
But you're not alone. That's the key thing. You're not I bought those courses, those little, the ebooks and everything, and
we've done that.
And that was the difference. It's like the information's out there, but it's the mentorship, it's the guidance, it's the community, and it's the environment where we are accountable for doing the work.
Right. It's that combination that really makes it successful, I think, and why so many people have been successful taking it.
Awesome. Hey,
Yeah,
you
and
guys-
picking up on
Yeah.
what Michael was talking about us not being alone. In 2017, 2 years after I'd finished the course, I had a major health scare.
Oh.
And completely out of the blue, I get a phone call from Barry saying, hey, I've been hearing through the grapevine what's going on in your life. How can I help you? And that was, that's way beyond what you're going to get from any other course out there on the internet, quite honestly. And that sort of longevity of the relationship, not just with the 10 of us, but also with all the other people in the alumni group, that's something really to bear in mind. So I appreciate the folks who are listening to us at the moment. Most of them won't know Barry, but I promise you, for those of us that do, he's not just pitching a course and then at the end of the 8 weeks, he's going to walk away. That's absolutely not the case. So again, something to factor into your thinking when you decide whether or not to jump in this year.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. Do that. Yeah, thank you, Steve. And to jump onto that, please do it for yourself. I can't tell you financially how little sense this makes for me to spend 8 weeks with you guys. It is extremely costly. I'm working with high-end clients. A couple of guys on here know exactly what I'm doing in the outside world, and it's a big leap. And it's the most important work I do all year. I mean, I will own that. We have the ability and we have the power to influence and make ripples around the world, to our children, to the audience, to the children of the audience members that we talk to. The ripples that we do are bigger than life. In parting, I would love for you guys just to maybe pop in and just say, what would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence right now, and spend 30 seconds or so, and then just then you guys see the order on the screen, jump into the next. And let's start in reverse order. We'll go with Benjamin down to the bottom, and we'll kind of move up to the top.
All this talk of money, I realized I had to go to the bank before it closed.
And you put on your mask to rob the place. That was fantastic.
I did.
Well,
yeah, they can't tell who I am now. Actually, I entertained at the teller's event once. So very important. The people in this group are the kind of people who do the work. You could go and collaborate with a couple people and one or two of the people, the 5 that show up, would be doing all the work. This is a group where if you pull together on a project, it could be your project. All 5 people will be dedicated, working, and know exactly what's going on. And you can't get that anywhere else. So it's part of the pre-screening you do that creates the power of this community.
It's hard to hide. Yeah, thank you so much. Priscilla, any thoughts for someone who's sitting on the edge of this thing in their life?
Just freaking do it.
Boom.
Freaking do it.
And right from Vegas, we bottom line it. Well done. Nicely done. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, really, it's just like Ben was saying, you can talk to other people, you can talk to other entertainers and get advice and bounce ideas off of, but they're not at the level that ShowBiz Blueprint alumni is at. They're not. They're not putting in the work. They're not at that mindset. I know we keep talking about mindset, but with the tools and the mindset and the strategies, all of the things put together, they're not at that level. And you get that with this group, and it's amazing. And just do it.
So
we're waiting for you.
Thank you. Danny, what you got?
So, as I said before, make the commitment to yourself, make the commitment to your week in terms of time, and make the commitment to Barry. And, I'm sure he's offering a money back guarantee if you're not happy within the first week or two. And dip your toe in the water and see what it's like. And you'll immediately experience what we've been talking about here for the last hour in terms of the power of the community and the power of the mindset. And, the power of the whole course to bring it together to really bring you to a better place as a self-employed entertainer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it means a lot. Steve, any thoughts for someone who's sitting on the edge?
I took the opportunity yesterday to go through the sales page again and all the things you are offering for ShowBiz Blueprint 2021. I can't wait to redo it myself. Like Brian was saying the same thing. I'm going to be on it too. I cannot wait to see what's new, get a reminder of some of the mindset stuff, re-engage with it all again. It's going to be very cool. I am pumped. And I can't wait to join the people that are going to be joining us this year.
Can't wait to see you, man. Thank you so much. Michael, what you got, man?
You know, it's scary. I'm not gonna lie, making that decision, and I think the scariest thing is getting comfortable with the idea that you are worth investing in. That's where I struggled maybe the most. It's just like, how am I gonna get an ROI on this? I could see how other people do it. How am I gonna do it? And maybe that's the first step. To just, you're worth the investment. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I've spent 4 figures on a prop, on a routine. I've spent 4 figures on a manuscript, on a routine, and I don't even perform that anymore. But if we sat and looked at everything that we've invested in props and in books and videos and everything for our show, if you want to get out and put that amazing show in front of people and go all over the world, you have no idea what's on the other side of the fear that you're feeling right now. But I've been able to meet the woman of my dreams and take her. Actually, I met her before, but marry the woman of my dreams, take her all over the world with me doing my show. And it's just, I can't tell you how much fun it is to say to my wife, hey, you want to go to Italy? Hey, do you want to go to Denmark? Hey,
It's so good.
An adventure is calling. And if you're ready, if you're not, that's okay, because this will be here when you are. But if you are ready and you have been in this place for so long and you want to go to the next level, pull the trigger. I promise you. I'm lost for words. I'm a professional speaker. I am lost for words. What is on the other side of this adventure? But
thank you, man. It's
I will see you there.
You touch the heart, yeah. You touch the fears and the power inside of each of us, and I hope that connects with somebody. I promised people who came to this and who are watching the replay of this that at least one of you would say something that would allow them to see themselves and where they're at in their life. And hey, it's showing me stuff. I'm feeling it like crazy. Hey, good. Brian and Dennis, Jen and John, love to hear just any advice for you guys. And we're going to get out of here a couple minutes late, but thank you so much.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of you who are watching may not even know who a lot of us are. But by taking this course, you're going to be probably joining the ranks of some of the top shelf, highest paid entertainers in Magicdom. I look around here, I've got over maybe 3,500 books plus, and I've read every single one. I've done everything. I've tried everything over the years. Nothing has gotten me further than taking ShowBiz Blueprint. Nothing. And I could do a show with one of these. I couldn't ever sell it. Yeah. And that's my bottom line.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, Dennis, some words. Thank you.
Yeah, man, Michael, what you just said, an adventure is calling. That's great. That's exactly what this feels like. Ever since I got into this, just like an adventure. But my acting teacher used to tell us, you don't audition for the job, you audition for your career. And I go into every proposal that way. I'm not, if you don't want to hire me for this one, that's okay. We might not be right. But you know what? There's another one coming up that you're going to be doing that you're going to remember me because of what I learned, what you showed us, Barry. And if you want to be in it for the long term, if you want to have a career, this is the place for you. That's what I'm feeling is happening for me these past couple of years. And I'm incredibly grateful to you, Barry, and everybody, this entire community. So
awesome. Yeah, we are on the verge of the biggest changes that certainly any of us will know in our career. I mean, it seemed like a financial crisis or Y2K, if you're old enough for that, or 9/11. I mean, we've been through some things, but this reentry, this is a time to lead. And we talked a lot about that in the 3-day reentry workshop, and we'll continue that charge. Miss Slaw up in Pennsylvania.
I mean, I echo what everyone else is saying. It's just so powerful. I would say, I took the course in 2013. A lot of the people on this call took the course in 2015, 2011, and we're still here. Right? Yeah. I mean, I've taken other courses where the course ends and that's it. It's over. And this is a lifetime, ongoing support that is just like what other people have said is priceless. I mean, it's the perfect blend of of the tactics, of the mindset. If you don't think you need the mindset, you do, and of the accountability. It's just such a wonderful combination. You will have Barry's voice in your head forevermore, and it will serve you very well. And I can't thank Barry enough for the support and the encouragement he's given me over the years. It's just meant so much. And awesome. Yeah, so like Priscilla said, just do it.
And I love seeing you as a mom. I'll just say, I love seeing you as a mom. I'm so glad for little G, how he gets to have a leader like that in his life. So cool. And the best lighting in Arizona, to the man who used to hang lighting. Hey, and brought it home. Nice, man.
Yeah, I mean, Jen nailed it. I often answer emails and stuff with what would Barry do is my response. Like my thinking before I go to the email is what would Barry, and you learn a lot of that in the course. You get all the strategies, all these techniques, you get to hang out with all these amazing people. You get put in a accountability group and you hold each other accountable. And I mean, I got put in a group with Steve, and that was amazing because, he's way up here and he's pulling me up with him. I love it. Also, I'm buzzing right now because I literally just got back from shooting a national TV show that will air this fall. And in March, I shot another national TV show that will be airing later in fall. And the networks had to argue over what dates they could play me. What? This is weird. And they're major networks. So on top of that, Guinness World Records, and I've done 3 TEDx events, and all of this is coaching and lessons I've learned through ShowBiz Blueprint. And these guys all have it too, and girls, sorry. Everybody here has done a lot of this stuff, and it's all from playing bigger. And this is a time for some of you to play bigger. And for many of you, this is the next step. So I look forward to seeing you.
I only wish I was that we were all somewhere in one place in a green room, actual green room, getting to hang out and chat and connect with this way. I'm grateful that all of you showed up just on an email, just saying, will you come on and share your heart about this? It means the world to me that you did. Congratulations on just all the huge growth that is in this group, how you guys have played it. I will raise my glass to you, and I know we will meet again. I can't wait for that time. So thank you so much on behalf of all the entertainers in the world who are catching this, who will hear something inside of themselves and say, yeah, that's what spoke to me. I'm grateful for the giveaway of you guys showing up today. Thank you so much. And bye to everybody who's watching this. Thank you guys so much.